Hello and welcome to What the Fill episode 4. So in this episode we are going to be tackling the second part of my mini two-part jungle beat series where we're going to be talking about the pre-chorus in the song Gasoline by I Prevail, which is one of my more recent covers. In the description of this video you can find a link to the full Gasoline cover as well to the full lesson breaking down that entire song. Today we're going to be focused on that pre-chorus. As I mentioned, this is part 2 in this two-part mini series. So if you want to see part 1 before you dive into this and get an explanation on what jungle beats are, why I call them jungle beats, and also learn a very basic one before we take it up a level to this more complex version of a jungle beat, you can find the link in the description to episode 3, which is part 1 in this two-parter, and you can check that out before coming back to this video. For those of you who are still here and ready to go on part 2, I just wanted to thank Vincent, Thomas, Scott, Rodney, Neil, Matt, Mark, Kyle, Justin, Julian, Adam, Alex, Aubrey, Brian, Adam, Chelsea, Cody, Davis, Drew, Leon, Fred, Greg, John, and Josh. These are the names of the individuals who support me on Patreon and make videos like the one you are currently watching and the other content that I have on my channel. These are the people who make that content possible. Now, with all that being said, let's get back to talking about Jungle Beats Part 2. You saw me play it there at the beginning of this video. Now, I'm going to take you through the sticking isolated so that you can get that down, and then we'll get into the performance sections. All right, cool. So let's check out the sticking behind this jungle beat that makes up the pre-chorus in Gasoline. So as you can see there on the bottom of your screen is the actual notation. Now I'm just going to roll through that notation that's there. I'm just going to roll through it very slow, bit by bit here on the kit to sort of show you what's going on, and then we'll get into actual performance, into actual playing together here in a sec. So let's start with that pickup fill. The pickup fill is super simple. It's just right, left, right, left. You're just going to go to right, left to right, left here, right, left there. So like this. So that's the pickup fill, and then we're gonna go one E-enda, two E-enda. So one E-enda is gonna look like this, and then two E-enda is gonna look like this. So playing that once more, we're gonna go one E-enda, two E-enda. Now let's cover the second half of bar 1, so 3 E-enda and 4 E-enda. 3 E-enda is gonna look like this. So that was just right, left, right kick. And 4 E-enda is actually a pattern that we've seen here on What the Fill several times. It's very simple. It's just right, left, right, left. We're just gonna move it through the toms and the snare. So right, left, left. So one more time, a little bit faster. So 3 E-enda and 4 E-enda will look like this. And now I'm gonna play the first bar for you. So I'll slow that down a little bit slower for you. So that was real slow, in control. That was 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda, and 4 E-enda. We just didn't play that pickup fill, which we've already seen. It's very easy. Moving along from that, we're gonna get into the second bar. So 1 E-enda through 4 E-enda, all the 16ths in the second bar of this pattern. We'll start with 1 E-enda once again. So 1 E-enda for bar 2 is gonna look like this. So that's the same thing that we saw in bar 1. We're just repeating it here for bar 2. And then I believe 2 E-enda is, 2 E-enda is also the same here. And so is 3 E-enda actually. There's the only thing we're changing is when we get to beat 4, we're gonna do 4 strokes on the snare instead of this pattern. Instead of doing that, we're just gonna do, so we'll move through that. So as I already did, I showed you 1 E-enda, so that's this. And now 2 E-enda is this, so 2 E and so that was just left, right, left kick. And then after left, right, left kick, we're gonna go right, left, right kick. So, and that's the same as 3 E-enda from the first pass. And now the only thing we're gonna change, as I said, is 4 E-enda. So 4 E-enda will look like this. So the whole second bar put together, it looks like this. So putting the whole thing together, pickup fill, beats 1 and beats 2, it looks like this so far. Now we're going to repeat everything we've already done, all the same sticking, nothing's really going to change except the 4-yen is going to change again. So in the actual pattern of this jungle beat, as we move through the beat, 1-yen to 2-yen to 3-yen of each bar is staying the same for the first 3 bars. The only thing we're changing is the 4-yen. So on the first bar, the 4-yen was this. On the second bar, the 4-yen is this. And on the third bar, the 4-yen is gonna look like this. Right, left, right, kick. So, and then after that, we're gonna change it up a bit. But playing the whole thing up until that point is gonna look like this. I'll do it super slow and I will include the pickup fill. So here's the pickup fill. And now we're gonna go into bars 4 and 5. I'm gonna sort of group these together because we're just looking at a fraction fill. If you haven't seen my episode of fraction fills, there's a description in the, there's a link in the description. You can check out what a fraction fill is, but we just have a very simple fraction fill here. We're just gonna do a 4/2, and then a 4/2, and then a 2/2. So the first 4/2 is gonna be this. That's the 4, and then the 2 will be 2 kicks. And then the second 4/2 is gonna be this, so 4 on the hands, and then 2 kicks. And now a 2/2, and we're just doing snare, kick, kick. And then to finish it off, on the very last, we're gonna start a 6th bar, and on the downbeat of the 6th bar is gonna be a flam on the floor tom and on the snare drum. So we're just gonna do this. And that's it. So I'll play those guys a little bit faster. So this is bars, the final 2 bars right here, which is a fraction fill. We're just gonna go 4 on the hands, 2 on the kick, 4 on the hands, 2 on the kick, 2 on the hands, 2 on the kick, flam. Now putting the entire thing together, just freehand here, no click, just for you guys to pay attention to the sticking, it's gonna look like this. This will include the pickup fill. And that's it, that's the sticking, that's what's going on in the pre-chorus, or at least my version of the pre-chorus for Gasoline by I Prevail. You can find the cover, full lesson, all that stuff in the description below, as I already mentioned. So yeah, I'm gonna take you now to the performances and get you playing along with me. Now that you've seen me perform it, now that you've seen the sticking, I'm gonna mention one thing I forgot to sort of bring up at the intro real quick. This is not the exact version of what's being played there in the song. I actually got a hold of the actual MIDI from that song, from Gasoline, and I looked at the drums and they're not very humanized. It's kind of an awkward sticking the way it was written, and I didn't really, like when I played it like it was written out on MIDI, there was a lot of like left-handed lead stuff. It was like left on rack, right on rack, left on rack, right on floor, and that was like the first grouping for most of the passes, and just like having that, like, yeah, it's doable, but it didn't feel very good to play. It didn't look very good, and it didn't sound the greatest. On recording, it sounds good, sort of blended in with the guitars and all the layers and everything that's going on, but I don't know, for the cover and for this lesson, I wanted to sort of challenge myself and also just like change it. I just felt like I had a better version of it. So this isn't exactly what's being played in the track, but with all that being said, this version's very close and works very well. One thing I'll mention too, I did turn this more into a jungle beat from my definition from the first episode of this 2-parter, because I added the crash cymbal that's going to be on the first 3 quarter notes throughout this fill. So there's actually no cymbal through this like fill, this jungle beat sort of section in the original song. I added that crash cymbal just to make it feel like more flowing, and I just, you know, it changed it to be more of like my version of it. But with all that being said, this is still a fantastic exercise for all of you at home, and you can still apply it to this song and play it over that section, no problem. So yeah, let's get into actually playing together. Now that you've seen it sticking, now that you've seen me performed, we're gonna start at 60 beats per minute. Here we go. Coming off of 60 beats per minute, we're gonna keep on moving up. The tempo of this song of Gasoline is at 135. That's what we're trying to get to. So the next tempo we're gonna hit is just a 20 BPM jump to 80 beats per minute. So here we go at 80 beats per minute. Moving right along from 80 beats per minute. If you want to jump back to 80 or 60, the timestamps are on the screen for you right now to jump back to those two different tempos and play through them on repeat if you need to before moving forward. The next tempo we come to is another 20 BPM jump up to 100 beats per minute. So here we go with the pre-chorus of Gasoline at 100 beats per minute performed for you now. After 100, keep on moving our way up. Like I said, we're trying to get to 135. So the next BPM we come to is 120, and we're closing in on that final tempo. So here we go at 120, perform for you now. Okay, awesome. So we're just one jump away. We've gotten through it at 120. Now we're going to take it up 15 more beats per minute, 15 BPM, up to 135, which is the track tempo of Gasoline. If you want to go back at any of the other tempos, so 60, 80, 100, 120, if you want to go back and check out any of those and do them on repeat, the timestamps are all on the screen for you right now. With all that being said, here we go with the pre-chorus of Gasoline at the final tempo, the track tempo, 135 beats per minute, perform for you now. And there you go. Congratulations on learning that jungle beat, learning that linear fill, that lick, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was really, really fun to play. I really enjoyed that section of the song. I hope that you found it very fluent because I did sort of write that onto myself for this video and for my cover. So I really hope you enjoyed learning that little lick, and I hope that it helped you sort of better get a handle on both linear fills and jungle beats, and also limb independence, because exercises like this really, really do strengthen your limb independence. With all of that being said, this is the end of the two-parter that is jungle beats. I'm sure we will cover this topic in the future in this series as What the Fill rolls along, but for the next episode, for episode 5, it will not be on jungle beats, it will be on something different, and you'll have to wait and see. So subscribe to be notified when that guy drops. If you want to connect with me further, you can do so. My social media pages are on the screen for you right now, as well as direct links in the description below. If you want to support the channel because you enjoy content like this and it helps you in your own playing, you can get involved by maybe grabbing some merch. I have sweaters, tanks, tees, all kinds of stuff on the merch store. You can find a link in the description below. And then, of course, there's dozens and dozens of benefits to becoming a Wyatt Stav patron. So if you want to check out the Patreon link, that's in the description below as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys very soon with something new.